Movies are meant to entertain, shock, and sometimes even provoke. But what happens when a film sparks outrage across nations?
North Korea says the United States is on the verge of committing an act of war and that its reckless, provocative insanity will be met with merciless retaliation from Pyongyang.
They've offended millions of Christians all over the world. Millions.
The worst thing you could ever see would be 3 people, and particularly 2 children, killed right on film.
From political scandals to banned blockbusters, these controversial movies ignited full-blown international incidents. A Clockwork Orange. Stanley Kubrick's 1971 film, A Clockwork Orange, was a striking and controversial satire of modern society. While the British Board of Film Classification initially approved its release without cuts, the film sparked intense debate. Some praised its artistic vision, while others criticized it for seemingly glamorizing violence. Concerns grew when reports emerged of real-life crimes allegedly inspired by the movie. In one case, a group of young boys attacked a homeless man, mirroring a scene from the film. In another, a Dutch girl was assaulted by perpetrators who sang "Singin' in the Rain," echoing a disturbing moment in the movie. Facing public outcry and even threats to his family, Kubrick made the rare decision to withdraw the film from circulation in the UK. The uncut version remained unavailable there until 1999, following Kubrick's passing. Last Tango in Paris. Bernardo Bertolucci's 1972 film Last Tango in Paris, an X-rated drama about a middle-aged man, Marlon Brando, and a young Parisian woman, Maria Schneider, engaged in an intense but emotionally detached affair, sparked significant controversy upon its release. The film faced censorship in several countries due to its explicit content. In Italy, the uproar led to massive ticket sales until authorities intervened. Acting on a prosecutor's order, police seized all copies of the film. Bertolucci and Brando were taken to court on obscenity charges, with Bertolucci receiving a 4-month suspended prison sentence and losing his civil rights, including the ability to vote, for 5 years. The Italian Supreme Court ultimately ruled that all copies of the film be destroyed. Natural-Born Killers. Oliver Stone's 1994 crime satire Natural-Born Killers has long been a lightning rod for controversy. Ranked as the 8th most controversial film of all time by Entertainment Weekly, its highly stylized depiction of violence has been linked to several real-life crimes. One of the most disturbing cases occurred in Alberta, Canada, in 2006. Jeremy Allen Steinke, 23, and his below-the-legal-age girlfriend, who became Canada's youngest convicted killer, murdered her parents and 8-year-old brother. Hours before the attack, Steinke reportedly watched Natural-Born Killers, telling friends they should carry out acts in a similar fashion. He later described the film as the best love story of all time to an undercover officer. The film faced widespread backlash, with the Daily Mail calling it evil and arguing it should be banned. A lawsuit was even filed against Oliver Stone and Time Warner by a victim's family, claiming they were responsible for inspiring the incident. The case was ultimately dismissed in 2001. The Last Temptation of Christ. Martin Scorsese's 1988 film The Last Temptation of Christ, which offered a more humanized portrayal of Jesus, sparked intense backlash from religious groups worldwide. Despite receiving an Academy Award nomination, the film was banned in multiple countries and faced widespread protests. Blockbuster Video even initially refused to carry it due to the controversy. In Paris, tensions escalated when a group of activists firebombed a screening, injuring 13 people. Other cities in France saw similar disruptions, with protesters setting off tear gas and stink bombs in theaters. A representative from Universal International Pictures lamented the attacks, stating, "They have massacred the film's success, and they have scared the public." Meanwhile, a leader of a Roman Catholic group opposed to the film's release declared, "We will not hesitate to go to prison if it is necessary." Cry Freedom. Richard Attenborough's 1987 biopic Cry Freedom tells the powerful true story of the friendship between South African journalist Donald Woods, Kevin Kline, and activist Steve Biko, Denzel Washington, during apartheid. The film follows Woods as he investigates Biko's death in police custody, ultimately forcing him to flee the country. While initially approved by South African censors, the Academy Award-nominated film was banned just hours after its premiere, with authorities claiming it posed a threat to public safety. Justice Minister Hendrik J. Coetzee cited a law prohibiting the quoting of banned individuals, such as Woods, as justification for pulling the film. Its release also coincided with violent reactions, including explosions and bomb threats at several South African theaters, with a gasoline bomb detonated in Port Elizabeth. The ban sparked public outrage, with the South African Council of Churches condemning the government's actions, stating that officials were trying to conceal its shameful history from its people without learning from that history that peace and justice must in the end triumph. Twilight Zone. The 1983 anthology film Twilight Zone. The movie became infamous not just for its eerie stories but for a tragic on-set accident that resulted in the deaths of actor Vic Morrow and two child actors. During the filming of a Vietnam War-themed segment directed by John Landis, Morrow's character was scripted to rescue two children while being pursued by U.S. forces. However, a helicopter flying low over the scene lost control after a special effects explosion went off too close to it. The aircraft crashed, leading to the passing of Morrow and the child actors. The tragedy led to an intense legal battle. Landis and several crew members were charged, marking the first time a Hollywood director faced criminal charges over an on-set death. After a lengthy trial, they were acquitted in 1987, though the accident led to significant changes in Hollywood's safety protocols, particularly regarding child actors and stunt work. The film itself was released as planned, but the controversy overshadowed its reception, leaving a lasting mark on the industry. The Interview. Who would have guessed that a raunchy comedy starring Seth Rogen and James Franco as journalists recruited to assassinate North Korean leader Kim Jong-un would spark an international crisis? Yet, that's exactly what happened with The Interview in 2014. On November 24th, a hacker group calling itself Guardians of the Peace, GOP, infiltrated Sony Pictures, leaking personal employee data, internal emails, and unreleased films. The group demanded that Sony cancel the movie's release, even issuing threats of terrorist attacks against theaters that chose to screen it. North Korea quickly became the prime suspect behind the hack, denouncing the film as an act of war and promising merciless retaliation. The threats had an impact. Sony canceled the film's wide theatrical release and its big premiere. However, The Interview was still made available digitally and had a limited run in select theaters. Cannibal Holocaust. Ruggero Deodato's Cannibal Holocaust, 1980, is one of the most infamous films in cinematic history, largely due to its extreme graphic depictions. Presented as a found-footage film long before the genre became popular, it follows a rescue team searching for a missing documentary crew in the Amazon, only to uncover disturbing footage of their demise. Upon its release, Cannibal Holocaust was banned in multiple countries, including Italy, the UK, and Australia. The controversy escalated when Italian authorities accused Deodato of creating a snuff film, believing that several on-screen deaths were real. To prove his innocence, Deodato had to bring the actors to court to confirm they were alive. Thank you for watching. Please leave us your thoughts in the comments.